There are two kinds of business owners, the ones who play by the rules and the ones who think they're too clever to get caught. Spoiler alert, they're not. Welcome to Cooked and Booked, where we track the mistakes that turn business owners into defendants. Crimes that start small and spiral fast. In this episode, we're breaking down 4 real cases, all wrapped up in court just last month. A high-powered attorney, famous for representing Rodney King, who thought he could outsmart the IRS. A customs broker who skimmed millions from his clients and got greedy. A nonprofit director who pocketed money meant to feed kids. And a contractor whose shortcuts cost a worker his life. Let's get into it. Milton C. Grimes built his career on knowing the law. He was a civil rights attorney, best known for representing Rodney King. He understood every angle of the system, but following those rules? Not so much. For 23 years, Grimes played the same game plenty of business owners try. Delay, defer, ignore. The IRS sent notices. He dodged them. They levied his personal accounts. He rerouted his money through his law firm. On paper, he was just scraping by, but in reality, he was pulling out millions, over $16 million in cashier's checks and cash withdrawals between 2014 and 2020. But tax problems don't just go away. They grow. By the time the IRS caught up, he owed $7.2 million in unpaid taxes. How'd they catch him? Simple. The IRS never stops following the money. They tracked every check, every withdrawal, every evasive move, straight back to him. As of February of 2025, it's official. Grimes was sentenced to 18 months in federal prison and ordered to repay it all. No one plans to dodge millions in taxes. It starts with one bad decision, and then another. But tax problems grow teeth, and the longer you wait, the sharper they get. Seung Noah had one job: collect customs import taxes from his clients and hand them over to the government. Routine, predictable, until he asked himself one question, one very bad question. What if I just kept the money? And for more than a decade, he did. He padded duty fees on invoices, convincing clients, like retail chain Daiso, that they owed more than they did. He pocketed the difference. Over time, that added up to $5 million. But Noah wasn't done. He dodged another $1 million in personal taxes, laundered money through check cashing services, and bought real estate under his ex-girlfriend's name. And even after he was indicted in 2022, he kept stealing. Another $2 million after the feds were already watching. By February of 2025, he pleaded guilty to wire fraud and tax evasion. Stealing from clients is bad. Stealing from the IRS at the same time? That's worse. Pocketing tax funds, payroll, customs, sales, makes you more than a bad business owner. It makes you a criminal. And the feds don't just want their money back. They want you. Some fraud is subtle. This was not. Sharon Denise Ross ran a Minnesota nonprofit supposed to feed kids through federal nutrition programs. Instead, she fed her own accounts, stealing $2.4 million. Her playbook? Make it all up. Fake vendors, fake expenses, fake claims for nearly 900,000 meals that never existed. For a while it worked. During COVID, there was less oversight. But eventually, federal investigators took a closer look at the Feeding Our Future program, and the numbers didn't add up. By February of 2025, Ross was sentenced to 43 months in prison and ordered to repay the stolen funds. Government money isn't free money. Every dollar comes with strings, and they lead straight back to you. Some crimes are about greed. Others are about cutting corners, until someone else pays the price. Manuel Domingos Pita ran a construction company. On paper, it looked legit. Behind the scenes, he was skipping taxes, slashing safety, and ignoring the law. Between 2018 and 2022, he underreported workers to dodge $22.7 million in workers' comp premiums, evaded $33.7 million in federal employment taxes, and hired undocumented workers without basic safety protections. In March 2020, high winds hit one of his job sites, and a worker with no fall protection fell from a roof and died. OSHA had already cited Pita 6 times for the same violation. He ignored them 6 times. By February of 2025, Pita was sentenced to 48 months in prison and hit with $55 million in penalties. Payroll fraud isn't just about money, it's about people. When business owners cut corners, it's their employees who pay the price. And when the government steps in, sometimes they take more than your money. Sometimes they take your freedom. None of these people thought they'd get caught, but they all left a paper trail. And the feds followed it. Want to stay off Cooked and Booked? Keep your books clean, pay your taxes, and when in doubt, ask an expert. Because when the numbers don't add up, the consequences do. If you want to focus on running your business without worrying about tax mistakes coming back to haunt you, get an expert on your side. And if you want to keep learning how not to end up uncooked and booked, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and keep an eye out for next month's episode.